A very good evening, Uganda. Thank you for watching UBC television. I'm your anchor, Wadulo Mark Arnold Mugalu Muhammad on sign language. It is the 4th of September 2021. Welcome to the news tonight, when I'll give you the news headlines. In our top stories tonight, government calls for more vigilance as Greater MASAKA comes. Security in MASAKA tight as the situation normalizes. In other news, leaders in Karamoja question NGO's priorities. And in sports, Federation of International Gymnastics promises to help Uganda grow. Once again, thank you for joining us. We now give you the news in detail. Government has assured the general public, and in Greater MASAKA in particular, of total security. The Minister for Information and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, said this while briefing the media about the security situation in MASAKA and other national issues. These are the details.
Calm is slowly returning to MASAKA sub-region after heightened demobilization and heavy security deployment across the region. Though there is necessary fear and tension, no incident has been registered in the last 4 days across the entire MASAKA stretch.
That the situation continues to improve and there is no cause for alarm, especially for the population in the Greater MASAKA area. The security and intelligence in the ground, working with the people to ensure that they get to the bottom of the matter, but also all those behind this, whether it's those who are directly causing the murders or those behind them, will be known and will be brought to book.
Information and Communication Minister Dr. Chris Baryomunsi advises all Ugandans to remain vigilant, alert, and not to act in fear.
We would want to request the population not to panic because of those leaflets. If they find that kind of information or saturating messages, let the people alert the leaders and the police, and then those who are saturating those leaflets will be apprehended.
He also advises those summoned by police in regards to the MASAKA murders to cooperate with the investigators.
I want to confirm that they were summoned, and my advice would be they should honor the summons and interface with the police and answer any questions which may want clarification. Because the public has been challenging the police and the state to act. And of course, in the course of investigations, if our operatives, our security, our intelligence lands on any information, they have to process it. If, for instance, the people who are arrested say Baryomunsi is involved in one way or the other, police will call me and say, the suspect has said you did this, and then I will answer the questions.
Baryomunsi also disclosed that the Vice Chancellor Victoria University, Dr. Muganga, has been set free following the recent arrest.
And unless a suspect is resisting arrest or is violent at the time of arrest, there is no need whatsoever for the arresting officers to create scenes and arrest somebody in a humiliating manner. So they should remain civilized when they are arresting an individual.
Government also acknowledges that the vaccination effort is to be fast-tracked with the importation of more vaccine doses.
Even tomorrow, the Minister of Health, I think, will be receiving about 648,000 doses of Moderna. So, like we've been receiving, but beginning this month of September, going into October, November, we are going to be receiving many more doses.
Dr. Baliumusi also made a clarification about the debate of the do's and don'ts of incoming travelers, especially through Entebbe Airport.
We don't want to pick other variants through these travelers. So the story which was saying government has suspended the testing of incoming travelers for 2 weeks was false. The 2 weeks came in because the committee which was handling said, let's give ourselves 2 weeks. We go to the airport, we visit, we assess the preparedness, we see any gaps and we close them, and then that decision will be finalized of expanding and testing whoever is coming into the country.
Robert Onyango, UBC.
Furthermore, the Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Judith Nabakova, has revealed that government is moving in to regulate the real estate industry in order to offer reasonable services to Ugandans, especially in the housing sector. Nabakova says the current gaps in the real estate regulations have seen many Ugandans suffer at the hands of quack dealers. Now, this was at an event at Real Estate Institute of East Africa in Kampala.
As the demand for convenient housing facilities among Ugandans shoot up, the real estate industry is overwhelmed by a high demand.
The real estate market is driven by demand and supply.
However, besides substandard housing sector, lack of professionalism in the industry seems to be a future threat to the country. The Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Judith Nabakova, says regulating the industry must be prioritized.
I've been grappling about the issue of real estate. Of course, we are fast tracking the bill for real estate management and development to make sure that at least the industry is regulated to us in the ministry.
According to Nabakova, the current gaps in the Real Estate Act and regulations has left many Ugandans nursing homes, as many have been smartly robbed.
We have faced a few challenges here and there because of the blockers. And we could be blaming them, but they have just entered the industry without understanding the do's and don'ts. So they end up messing families at times, buying family land when the families have not agreed. We have seen some in prisons. We have seen others evicting people. But through this institute, we believe that we shall achieve the professionalism we are desiring. And with the laws in place, once enacted and passed by Parliament, then we will be good to go.
Though national housing is a government seeking for other sector for Ugandans, especially government workers.
And once we have engaged a number of them, we will be in position probably to take a paper to cabinet. Because when they talk about 2.4 million deficit of houses in the country, to me it's a huge deficit. And remember, even some of the houses we call houses, they are substandard.
Nabakova was presiding over a certificates award ceremony for real estate practitioners from Real Estate Institute of East Africa in Kampala.
Because we have seen the many problems faced by real estate practitioners, and the problems that are faced are caused majorly by real estate agents. So it's high time they got regulated so that at least they do this work professionally.
Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Furthermore, the Minister of State for Information, Communication and Technology in charge of national guidance, Godfrey Kabyaga-Baluku, has challenged Arua district leaders to be honest while implementing development projects. The minister was closing a training for councillors of Arua district organized by the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance in partnership with Germany-based Stiftang Foundation.
The Minister of State for ICT, Godfrey Baluku Kabyanga, has said corruption cripples development. He emphasized that combination of zero tolerance to corruption, cohesion in leadership, patriotism in respect to love for the country, economic integration, and service delivery to the citizens are the 5 core issues envisioned for development.
RDC, you are the representative of the president. Don't tolerate any form of what? Corruption. Chairman, don't tolerate any form of what? Corruption. Speaker, the same and Councillors. Irrespective of whether the corrupt officer is your brother, your cousin, he should pay for it. They give us money for women empowerment, we eat the money. Youth livelihood, we eat the money. They give us money to build schools as local government, you don't build the what? You build the schools in fake what? Materials.
In a recommendation by the councillors to Minister of ICT delivered by the District Information Officer, the councillors expressed ignorance on most of their political roles that they said was addressed through the training they received and asked the ministry for training on ICT, as majority of them are computer illiterate.
In the training of yesterday, when the councillors were asked who is computer illiterate, half of the house was computer illiterate, which is really not very good in an era such as this of digital transformation. Therefore, there is need for capacity building programs and orientation for the district leadership, especially on ICT.
Arua District Chairman Alfred Okonzu and Arua District Resident Commissioner argued that lack of knowledge on responsibilities of political and technical wings of the district creates a lot of quarrels in running of the district and pledged to run the district with transparency.
We are living consciously that this district must be a model district in the heart of West Nile region. By the virtue that it gave back to 12 other districts, it must be exemplary. It must be a model district.
Because many times it is true, Honorable Minister, in the districts there is that wrangle between the appointed and elected leaders. Especially the technical people do not work really in harmony with our elected leaders. It is because many times people do not know their roles.
Arua District currently has 16 councillors.
Furthermore, leaders in Karamoja sub-region want non-government organizations' work streamlined for effective service delivery. They say that most NGOs get a lot of money on behalf of government but fail to improve people's livelihoods. This was during a meeting with the State Minister for Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, Esther Anyakun, at the Moroto Municipality Library.
Though Moroto Municipality is set to attain a city status, the hygiene of the area is still wanting. Moroto Municipality authorities, Town Clerk Uthman Sewaduka, Municipal Mayor Ismail Mohammed, decried the poor hygiene perpetuated by the practice of open defecation that is akin to cholera outbreaks.
The problem is there, and this one is going to affect your office. Tomorrow we will hear we have cholera here. Tomorrow we hear people are running away from the town.
So once there is an outbreak of cholera, it will take us back. And more so, we are in the rain season.
The State Minister for Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, Esther Anyakun, now wants leaders to sensitize communities on the value of hygiene and sanitation.
You people, the leaders of this place, you have to move. What I'm doing in my district, I've involved the health team. They're now moving village per village to do a campaign.
Anyakun advised the leaders to set clear terms and conditions on signing of memorandum of understanding.
To make sure that they, on onset, when they're signing an MOU with an NGO, they should be having black and white agreement what they're going to be doing to the host community of those organizations. It is just.
She also says there's need for concerted effort in addressing plastic waste management. The area mayor wants manufacturing companies to take on the burden.
To Parliament, that we should levy an environmental tax to these companies, and this tax is remitted to municipalities to manage their plastic wastes.
Relatedly, the Minister Kitutu wants NGOs' work to be directed by government, mainly in regard to capacity building, community sensitization, among others.
Because NGOs get money on behalf of government, so they should be aligned to work under our development agenda. Yes. And then we say, please, we need a school here, build it. If you don't want, then you can't.
The municipality mayor, Ismail Mohammed, blames non-government organizations for not addressing biting issues like hygiene and sanitation, though they have access to funds.
So I would also ask through you, Mama, that we should carry an audit, NGO audit in Karamoja, especially in Karamoja Parliamentary Group. We don't see them. I host most of them here, but you find them flying here and there, whereas Moroto municipality is wanting. More wanting than even the rural. Yes. You find people have wash programs. Within their office area, the neighborhood, you find is the hygiene and sanitation within that area is not good.
Moroto municipality is currently faced with challenges of insecurity, poverty, poor sanitation, hygiene, and famine, among others.
And that's Moroto in the spotlight. Moving on, the State Minister for Local Government, Victoria Rusoke, has asked politicians in Masindi to work hand in hand no matter their political affiliation. Victoria Rusoke made these remarks while meeting Masindi leaders at Masindi Municipal Chambers, Masindi District.
The State Minister for Local Government has met with political leaders in Masindi to forge a way forward of improving of people's livelihoods. Victoria Rusoke asked leaders to be better representatives to the people they represent and also work handy with the technical staff for development.
So the only thing I emphasize today is cohesion. Let's work together as a team. This is our municipality. We are the right people here, receiving and should be the monitors of service delivery. And for that matter, quality service delivery, not mere performance. I want to confirm to you, people of Masindi municipality, that we have awarded you a market. And on Monday, we are going to have a meeting with the consultant to agree on the designs of our new market. But that mark of our people to increase on their income by selling their products. So you have a very big role to work on their mindset change, to make sure they work very hard, they produce. Then when you see yourselves working very hard, you are producing for eating and selling, we shall then think of the industrial park.
Implementation and embracing government programs have been considered key in improving the livelihoods.
People must produce a lot of cassava, a lot of maize. Introduce coffee if it's not there. If it's there, make sure people plant at a large scale. We have one problem with the entire country, ladies and gentlemen, and my leaders in particular, of environment change and destruction. We are getting destruction of hailstorm more than it used to be. Why? People have encroached and settled in the wetlands. People have destroyed lands. Some have planted trees in them. Some are tilling the ground up at the top of the hills, and the water is just coming uncontrollable and flooding. We never used to have that before.
Politicians were warned against discouraging people from embracing government projects. Victoria Rusoke was informed that the COVID-19 funds were being misused with the challenge of understaffing of the Masindi Municipal Council.
As a middleman between the ministries and the local government, I only request my colleagues in the local government that we work together so that we can lobby in a common voice. And since for them they are not in Kampala most of the time, I can easily provide that linkage, that continuity, and deal with the ministries, especially the mother ministry of local government, to ensure that all these challenges we are having in our local governments are minimized. At least now we can smile, because for a long time, sincerely, as leaders, we have been asked several questions.
Masindi Member of Parliament Businje Joab asked government to empower the Minister of Local Government, Minister of Gender and Social Development with developmental projects that benefit Ugandans.
Our youth are languishing. Our youth have suffered a lot. You don't know even why you produce them. You can't put them back. You can't swallow them. That's what you are lamenting. But are you changing their mindset? But yes, it's one thing to go to the university, and it's another to earn a living. What's wrong with me having a university degree? And then I'm one of the seniorest farmers and earning money more than a secondary school teacher.
The resident district commissioner Masindi Rose Chirabira appreciated the gesture of the local government ministry of monitoring government programs, Sudat Kaye, UBC.
Yes, and that takes us for a short commercial break. We'll be back after these messages. Stay tuned.
Today in history.
On 4th September 2019, people gathered outside Parliament in Cape Town to address gender-based violence in South Africa. The protesters were angry, some demanding the government to bring back the death penalty towards a man who raped and killed a student from the University of Cape Town.
My home, my home. I dance when I look at you, Uganda. My home, oh my Uganda.
I know with you I'll always stay forever. I know, because I feel that we belong together. My home. On my heart, mommy, oh my Uganda.
Hey mama,
my Uganda.
Oh,
my Uganda.
Oh,
my Uganda. My Uganda. Uganda. Amari, Alemira. My Uganda.
Nyoe ni kugonza.
Our home, Uganda.
Five times the winning, yeah. 5 times the happiness, yeah. 5 times the luckiness, yeah. 5 for 5, oh yeah. It's 5 for 5. 5 for 5. 5 times the money, yeah. 5 times the shopping, yeah. 5 times the prizes, yeah. 5 for 5, oh yeah. It's 5 for 5. 5 for 5.
Win 100,000 Uganda shillings weekly in the 5 for 5 jackpot. Simply download the Center mobile app. Click Center on the go to open your account online. Transact 5 times or more using Center mobile, Center Visa, and Center Agent to stand a chance to win. The more you transact, the higher your chances of winning. So, participate in the 5 for 5 jackpot and win millions in daily and weekly prizes. The 5 for 5 jackpot is brought to you by Centenary Bank. Our bank, Centenary Bank, is regulated by the Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund.
Echa COVID-19 chijja kugwa only if we stay at home, observe physical distancing, wear masks properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly, or get vaccinated now.
Getting GoTV was the best decision James has ever made. Finding a good place to watch football was never easy, but it was costly until James discovered something big. Now he can finally enjoy the benefits of homegrown advantage with a decoder and 1 month of GoTV value. For just 25,000 shillings, enjoy the world's biggest leagues and cup competitions. GoTV Uganda, love it.
Experience 100% 4G speeds across Uganda with the Airtel 4G Pocket Wi-Fi available at 123,000 shillings only. It comes with a backup battery and 15 GB free for 1 month. Visit the nearest Airtel shop, device selling shop or Airtel online shop. www.airtel.co.ug/broadband-discover. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back. It's still a UBC News Tonight, broadcasting live from Nile Avenue. We now take you to the world of business. Members on Parliament's Education Committee have interacted with the Directorate of Industrial Training to establish what's required for better output. This meeting was hosted at Lake Victoria Serena Chigo in Wakiso District.
From the time government decided to ensure vocational studies are highlighted to boost Uganda's economy through job provision, Directorate of Industrial Training has been at the fore. But despite efforts to work towards the cause, it hasn't been a smooth ride for the Directorate, with inadequate funding the key challenge.
Inadequate funding, number 2, is lack of public awareness. Many people don't know DIT. Then we don't have enough infrastructure. So those are the major challenges. There are so other challenges, but those are the major.
This has been highlighted during an interaction between Directorate of Industrial Training and members on the Parliamentary Committee on Education, chaired by John Twesige.
The reason why we are here was for them to take from the program understanding. But most importantly, as Parliament, we are trying to see how we can fit in the policy arrangements of the Ministry of Education and Sports, and even in the government, where so many of the structuring activities are taking place.
Uganda's education system is now inclined under the new lower secondary curriculum to promote employable skills amongst Ugandans.
We have also learned that if someone has got a qualification from anywhere, the DIT can come in and focus on a specific trade. For example, someone could have done his degree, say, in economics, but is not able to find a job. But he can work as a beautician and he find employment in the salon. So I think, in our view, as part of our legislative process, we shall look at DIT as an institution which specializes on industrial assessment, which specializes in specific trade assessment, and also in apprenticeship.
For this to be realized, learners in lower secondary will study 11 compulsory subjects, but with an option of 1 vocational occupation that will be assessed by Directorate of Industrial Training.
The Directorate, the cost, the competency-based assessment is like 25 times more than the. So if the budget of UNEB, for instance, is 50 billion, so the DIT should have been more. 250. But what we have put in our presentation, if they can increase our budget at least 37 billion, then it will be better.
This 3-day retreat will discuss many other issues in regard to Uganda's education system, and importantly about how transition under COVID-19 may be achieved.
And now in the world of sports, visiting Federation of International Gymnastics Federation Development Officer for Africa, Tseko Mogotsi, has hailed Uganda's passion towards the sport. Now he promises to ensure that it meets requisite standards to compete at top level.
The future of gymnastic sport in Uganda that in the not-so-distant past seemed to be in limbo has all of a sudden been resuscitated. This follows the local federation leadership interventions, including targeting of thorough grassroots development. This has been helped further by inclusion of the sport on the education curriculum. At the top, the local federation has continued indulging partners like the international body that has sent its development officer for Africa, Mogosi Seko.
With my initial assessment of the situation, I've realized that there's 3 basic things that need to be done to help with the development of gymnastics. One is be technical support for coaching and judging, coaching in particular. So in order to answer this one particular aspect, we've actually arranged already for a course which will come in the next month to give technical training for coaching, in particularly in tumbling and aerobic, and some fundamental movement skills. The administration, being a young federation, the Gymnastics Association needs a lot of support to be able to establish the foundation for the sport. So we're hoping that from a local perspective, with the government structures and other stakeholders, they will be able to help to give this support so that we can implement the sport. And the third one is equipment. You know, for gymnastics to be able to be safe, ultimately you need to provide the right equipment. And for that we need space. So space is essential. And the International Federation is willing to assist with equipment, provided that they have space that is dedicated for gymnastics, that it can be set.
Gymnastics Association of Uganda head Harriet Aya believes that with availability of basics like infrastructure and funding, the sport in Uganda will flourish.
His coming here is because as Uganda we have, of course, at the moment our struggles to do with funding of sports. And so when we reached out to FIG, we were very blessed to have the mother body send us the development officer for Africa, our continent, and is right here to help us implement best realistic programs that can work best for our federation.
During his stay in Uganda, Sekomo Gossi has held meetings with high-ranking sports officials at the National Council of Sports and the Uganda Olympic Committee. John Burns, Centum, reporting.
Join us later on at 10 p.m. for a lengthier bulletin. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold Mugalo Mohammed on sign language. Up next is the weekly business roundup.
Thanks for tuning on UBC once again. Kutesa with your weather update. We are still seeing isolated thunder showers in most parts of the country, mainly the northern and some parts of the lake shores. And due to that, we had the highest of 20.1 millimeters of rainfall across Chitugumo, Mubende with 16 millimeters. Seeing the satellite picture, we are having a rainbow hovering over us, combined with the moist winds blowing from Congo airmass towards our country, enhanced with the local effects, bring us the weather that we're experiencing lately. Tomorrow morning, though, we expect to wake up with light showers across our capital city, Kampala, and some parts of the islands within the lake. But the northern part of our country, like across Arua, Guru, and Chitugumo, I expect to have with thunder showers. But the rest of the country, like the east and the western part of the region, is sunny intervals. After an hour, though, we expect a pickup of thunder showers almost in every part of our country. Temperature raise up 28 degrees Celsius across Karamoja regions, 29 in Swati, 27 parts of the north and the capital city, Kampala, the lowest across Kabale with 23 degrees Celsius. is moving out of our country, touring the world. Still, we are forecasting light showers across New York and Dar es Salaam with a highest of 31 degrees Celsius. London and Brussels with sunny intervals. Pre-hold, though, across Dubai with a maximum of 41 degrees Celsius. Thanks for tuning on UBC. I remain Kutesa Mili. Stay tuned and see you tomorrow.